Oh, okay. All right. All right. Otherwise, imagine.
I'm very well. I'm so excited. I am so excited. I am so excited. Like I wanted to play it off cool, and I wanted to be like all formal and all serious because I mean you've been having great conversations, right? And I'm like, Yazutina, I'm gonna just be, I'm gonna be real. And then the part of me that is
No,
myself was like, I'm so
yeah.
excited.
We go way back. It's not even we can't even do Anjal Shazad.
Right, right.
Like yeah, but I'm happy. It was wild because I only recently realized what we've never actually done this, and that
We've
was like
never. This is
that's
like we've
like
never.
criminal.
We've never.
Yes, like, nah, that's not okay. We like I wanted to even in the middle of all these other conversations, I felt it's not. I think it's important. We have to at least have one, and then the future will do whatever the future does.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm happy. I'm good too.
Hmm.
Uh, uh okay, so it's dating, uh, and for some odd reason, it kind of felt like you were a very interesting person to have the conversation with. Angazi why, but it's
Okay.
just something that hit me, and I was like, okay, let me go with it. So, how are you guys even coping? I think let me not looking at Lenale. And when I say you guys, I mean as women, just with the whole with the dating game. I'm willing to show and just
You know what?
yeah,
One of the things, fine, I always say, Wuti, there's one woman and her name is all women, right? Um,
which I love, by
but
the way.
there is a truth, Eti. Having said that, we don't all have the same preferences. We don't all like the same things. We don't all view it the same way because we were raised differently. Right.
Uh-huh.
So all of us as women, we were raised differently. But Kodwa, there's another truth, Eti, even having been raised differently, um, wanting different things, we are being hurt by the same things. So as women, when it comes to dating, it scares me the number of single women I know.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
number, the number of single women I know, I just like, why is there so many of us? What's happening? Number one.
Yeah,
Number two,
yeah.
number two, it makes me, and so there's two things that I'm like, it's the number of single women, that is money. Too many of us looking on these streets. Number two, then the number of us that go into what I call struggle love, struggling black love, where it's why is it so hard? Why can't we just have a beautiful black love story? Why must it be such a struggle? You know?
Okay, yeah, yeah. I
So
feel you.
and then there's us also who we've been so hurt. We are so broken. We are us. We are toxic women. We are toxic women. You can hear it in how we speak. You can see it in how we carry ourselves. And you can see it in how we spread it around. And and I know we exist. I know,
Mm.
I've seen us being toxic. So those are the three kinds then I've seen the very odd one, the one in a million, where it's just beautiful. She's Chloe,
Mm.
Chloe. She's got it. She's doing her thing in the world, and it's inspiring. So that's
Mm.
what I've seen, and that's where we are. But a lot of us, we want beautiful black love. That's you know.
Yeah. Mbuza ngoba I have obviously I have my male friends and I have my female friends. Some are single, some are in I'm in a relationship, some are in I'm in entanglements. And what what I'm seeing more than anything what is from naturally from my side, I see how the fellas and how the guys and how the boys of the men's are moving within the context of the relationship. And so my question then, having seen the behavior about Miss Lisa, and then I asked them, how are women surviving lento le. And this is not talking down or looking down on anyone, but it is truth and it needs to be spoken. So I see how we're moving and how we're handling ourselves within the relationship. And then I know the idea of black women are strong, black women are powerful, or the poetic words. But at the same time, I'm like, how are you taking, how is it even possible for you to be tolerating that? Ngoba one opinion and view that I've heard many times is women who know would say their man is cheating or probably will cheat, and they're somewhat normalizing or preparing or have prepared themselves mentally and socially, so psychologically, would say it's going to happen, but as long as I never find out, as long as if it's someone I've never met, as long as it's only once, and then he learns his lesson. So that blew me. That blew my mind. I was like, is this then the dating game? Because personally, I've checked out of the quote unquote dating game. So then I decided, and I'm like, so is this what it is? Would he say I understand Nana, but it's okay. Be aside.
But you know what? You know what? And just what you're saying about how are women handling all of this. Indeed, a person that is prepared for pain, if you are going to say, no, it's fine, I'll take pain, you have to be a little broken to do that. There's got to be something within you that is broken, that thinks it's okay for somebody else to treat me like that. You understand? There's got to be something that said, okay, it's fine. Your brokenness or your pain or your hurt said it's okay for me to be treated this way. You understand? So I think when it comes to women accepting being treated in a way that doesn't really honor them, it does say a lot about where women are in terms of our brokenness, our insecurities, our fears of being alone, our fears of what if it doesn't exist? What if what I want doesn't exist? What if, never mind if it doesn't exist, but what if I can't have what I want? So I might as well settle for this because this is what I'm being offered, you know? And as much as that is what is happening, it doesn't, I think women tend to dishonor themselves spiritually, because that's what it is. It's we are dishonoring ourselves spiritually, because spiritual code of conduct says, ask for what you want, don't settle for anything else unless it is the very thing that you asked for. So we say, this sort of looks like what I wanted. He shows up, sort of. He's there when I need him, sort of. He's going to cheat, okay? But at least he's there. At least I have someone. At least I'm not alone, you know?
Yeah.
And so a lot of women, and then I'm not alone because maybe I saw what it did to my mother being alone. I didn't like that. I saw what it did to my sister being alone. I didn't like that. And maybe I saw someone who had a cheating situation and they worked it out and it worked well. I just have to. So sometimes it's not I'm strong, I can handle it, as much as what else is there for me? Who else is going to see me? You know?
So you're saying it's coming from a belief of, or a fear of you might die. Billy's saying I might be disqualified at the next men's conference, by the way. So in for a penny, in for a pound, I might as well. So you're saying, Uguti, the tolerance of the behavior on the side of women is coming from a place of fear, Uguti. I might die alone, I might never get what I want, or there's no alternative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It has to come from a place of fear, because if it wasn't, I'd walk away. How dare you treat me like that? If I'm really unafraid, and I'm really willing to face the world, how dare you treat me like that? And I walk away and I go to a place where I'm treated with the utmost best love. Love that's not compromising, love that is full, love that shows up fully. You understand what I'm saying? If I really wasn't afraid, I'd leave. Why would I stay? Why would I stay?
Yeah. Okay. Then dare I ask, where's that fear then coming from? Because I have sisters, I have female cousins, I have friends, and some of the most remarkable people I know are women on all fronts. So I see firsthand the potential, the greatness, the supremacy of umuntu wesifazane. So then I have to ask, where's then that fear coming from? Because I'm thinking maybe calling to meaning I born, not being a woman, there are many things I'll never understand or see or know and experience. So I cannot imagine where that fear might come from, and with the exception of situations where there's past experiences that kind of manifested and bred that fear. But for the most part, nsaban, yine nsabisa, to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm going to settle for this.
Who do I know who it's worked for? Who do I know who it's worked for? And who's to say I'm the one that gets it? Who's to say I'm the one that gets the love story with no struggles? Who's to say why me now? What do I have that is so, who's to say? And I think that is the one thing often I see it, even just as people, period. Who's to always say, Uti, njalo, whenever we move, Nazi, as people, as human beings, wonke umuntu uyasaba ukwenza into angakaze abone omunye umuntu winning at it. You want to at least know, Uti, yabona this path, I've seen someone walk here. I've seen someone, I've seen it work. And I also think this thing of investing, when you've invested so much into a relationship and you've poured your heart out, I'm really scared of starting all over again. Because how do I know now that this time it's not going to turn out the way that it did the last time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only laughing because what you're saying is so closely similar to what was coming up Izolo and the conversation before that, but on the side of men, insofar as fear and never having seen certain things, so you don't know whether they exist or if you can attain them or if you can be them, and so on and so forth. So then it's not an interview, but I have my fair questions. Then, is there a certain consciousness that umuntu wesifazane then goes into a relationship with? For instance, do you go in looking for indoda based on whatever idea of indoda you have in your mind? Do you go into a space where as the man, he's supposed to take the lead, so I'm committing to a relationship, but ngizolandela yena, ngizobona ngaye ukuthi siyakephi?
That's a tricky one to answer, because you are going to show up in a relationship as you saw your mother show up. Also, you going to show up as you saw your mother show up, as you saw whomsoever the first relationship you saw, that's who you're going to show up as.
Okay.
Relationship. I don't know who's freezing. Did I disappear or did you disappear?
Yeah, you kind of lagged kancane up, but I think you're back.
So I think you're going. Okay, so I'm still saying you're going to show up as you saw somebody show up, and how Sbabato shows up is going to say a lot about what I believe about men and what I believe about myself.
and how the next woman shows up again, what they believe about men and what they believe about themselves. So I think all of us, we do show up with some sort of an expectation. Sometimes we communicate those expectations, sometimes we don't. But we do show up with some
expectation
sort of
it that he's going to take the lead, or expectation of him?
I think expectation of who I expect him to be. You know, this is what a man is. This is what a man is. And then not necessarily this is what Umdi is, but a man. My expectation of this is what a man is and this is what a man does. I think, but now Holoko can be very flawed again, based on how we grew up and what our stories were, what we were told when we were little. So we show up with that. And I think every now and then you are competing with who I think a man is. So every time you have to work with what I think a man is and what I believe a man is. So it's either you are proving me correct or you are proving me wrong.
So it's competing with an idea that you have a kind of lack of, what I am supposed to be as a Munduslis.
Right.
Oh.
And that idea can be flawed, really, because again, and I find it with everyone, it's really coming from what did I see growing up. And when relationships, what we saw growing up plays such a big role because it's in our subconscious. It really is. It's there. It's fully there. It's fully formed with you. What I saw growing up, as much as I can try to run away from it, but what I saw growing up is that it's deep-seated within myself, and that's how I'm going to show up in relationships. I'm going to show up because especially if it manifested itself into those places of what I believe. So what I saw growing up about a man, and then what I saw growing up, what a woman looks like and what she does, plays so much in what I believe. And then we are all equal, 50-50. But if I grew up in a household where the man was providing, somewhere, why is he not providing? What's happening? Because this is what they show somewhere. So it's a challenging thing. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm not saying we can't change. We do evolve, and we do, after we've confronted these issues, we do get to a place where you've confronted this issue, and you eventually like, okay, Sengilana, I get it. But in the beginning, but they said men open doors. I don't understand why this man not opening my door. What does he think?
Yeah.
What is it? You know?
Most of these questions, because in my own mind, I'm trying to see if I can navigate where the line is drawn. Go back, and I do, just for clarity and a disclaimer, I do know and have people who are in beautiful relationships, like really, really healthy and incredible spaces where both parties are growing, they're elevating, and it's a healthy place to not only just be in for one or two, but to also just be around as an observer or just an additional soul. So I'm trying to question where the line is. But same breath that I say I know people who are in incredible relationships, I also know people that are in somewhat questionable situations where for the larger portion of them, and I'm just going to be blunt, men cheat in relationships. You would have been going with a guy for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. He's cheating already. Okay. And my question then, Mina, to that individual is, it's only, well, one nibege pinadomuntu. If all it was a few weeks and you're failing to be within a few weeks, you're failing to be present within a couple of months, what's the plan? Where's this thing going? And two, if you're unable to commit for little brief period, like we're talking whatever, and you're looking at marriage, what's the game plan? Is it cheat now so you can get out of your system and then
Get it out of your system.
marriage?
Cheat as much as you can.
Yeah, like cheat now. And at least you can say with no saying or is it setting a precedent for what is to come in the future? So umuntu angeke asho ukuthi, you changed on me, because no, I was doing this even when, you know, we were dating. And so to me it's wild, mainly because, and I'll admit, I have sisters and nobody. So I have to imagine if my sister was in a situation with a fellow who was doing lesbian, there would be a problem. We would have a problem. And so because of Loka, then I have to look at that issue and I have to question, okay, but then where's the line? And I talk to the guys about Lokuti, when's on, even when there's a situation where now there's a child involved. So you impregnate this individual. And side note, I know more single mothers than I do single fathers. I don't know how the math is adding up, but I have more single mothers in my vicinity than I do single fathers, which is wow, because it takes two to make this thing. But nevertheless, yeah. So that I constantly question myself, what's Gandhi? Where do women draw the line? And do they not see what's happening? Well, but this is not an isolated incident. This happens a lot. And so the question often comes with Nakon, even externally, people like Gandhi, you know what?
On Sunday, I had this privilege of talking about obsessive love, right? And I'll tell you why this is important. Part of my argument always when it comes to relationships, I am a believer would see a woman who has her own things, has her own identity, understands when I go into a relationship, I'm not going to look for somebody to love me. I am not here for somebody to love me. I've got that part sorted, right? I've modeled how I want to be loved by how I love me. That sounds really stupid, but it's true. I have modeled how I want to be treated by how I treat me. So when I come into a relationship space, I'm here to share. I'm here to share. And there has to be into eti, are you worthy of me sharing? And when you, there's a saying in the Bible that says you can't cast your pearls to swines. You can't give your pearls to pigs. That's really what it says. And it's a whole thing of, if I'm going to share with you, I'm sharing my pearls with you, and you are not worthy, then I have to leave. But if I came in looking to be filled by you, looking to be supported by you, right? Maya Angelou says it is foolish for a woman to look for somebody else to support her when she hasn't supported herself. It's foolish for a woman to look for somebody to support who doesn't love herself. So if I'm looking for the basics that I should be providing for myself, when you cheat, I can't leave. I cannot leave, because where am I going to go? Am I going to go again, all over again, and look for somebody else? Do you understand what I'm saying? But a girl, and then again also, there's that. And then again, there's that whole concept of maybe you are not the worst of what you've done.
Which is somewhat true in some cases.
In some cases, maybe this is serious, and I know that you don't get that yet. You don't realize that yet. But then even Nagulaoma spaces, I'm a believer, if I was in a situation with somebody and they cheated, we can't pretend like it didn't happen. In other words, we can't treat the relationship like it didn't happen. There has to be consequences. There has to be consequences for this happen, right? So every situation is different in that sense, but I'm a wholehearted Minakuguti. I do believe Guti, a woman who supports herself, a woman who is rooted within herself, a woman who understands what I'm here to share. I'm looking for somebody to share. You sharing with me, and I'm sharing with you. We are sharing.
Mm.
Sharing with you, and you give me your pearls and I give you my pearls, and we get it, right? We both are understanding of this.
Mm-hmm.
I am treading lightly on the pages of your heart because I understand that when you as a man are you are giving me your heart, you're giving me your pearls. So I treat that like jewels because I also in turn am sharing that most intimate parts of who I am with you, and you treat
Mm.
that carefully. And so if you mess that up, no, I,
Mhm.
and I'm a girl who knows my worth on these streets, and you mess it
Yeah,
up, and you don't see that these are pearls. Come on, man. Come on. Come
yeah.
on.
I, I
I'd
think,
rather be alone, than
yeah,
be unhappy. That's what the lady said.
yeah. Yeah. I think he's agreeing with you a lot. Um, I will say, here's an observation, and it's happened before. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again. I've been stoned for you. Um, I think, I think women and Nati, um, we are all collectively as a community, as a society, we have a part in the issue. Njobushilo early on, coming from a place of brokenness and a place of fear, in the respect of we've enabled and we have allowed the facade.
Mm.
I've seen a lot of situations that made me realize, Uguti, we're all part of the problem. As
Mm.
much as we have the solutions, we're part of the problem, but we have allowed and entertained and enabled boys to pose as men.
Oh, that's good.
So as you're speaking, Ukuluma, about you as a woman, and you're giving your pearls, and you're giving your time, and your energy and your supremacy and your wisdom and strength, and you're sharing, not even giving, because
You
I have an
share
issue
it,
with
right?
that word as well. But you're sharing with lo muntu. Are you sharing with umuntu who's valid, who deserves your norm? Are you just hoping Uguti he's gonna step up?
Right.
Ngoba I know boys and I know men. I know boys who are boys, and then I see women come into their lives with an expectation of Gizom upgrade, or I'm gonna put him
Right.
on, or you know what I
Right.
mean. He's gonna, but he's a boy, and you're a woman, and you're attractive. You
And
have your
just
things,
just
and
just on that, Lee, just on that whole upgrading thing, again, we saw our mothers do it. We saw
yeah,
them do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
that's
So
true.
we
That's
saw it
true.
being
So
done. We saw women come in and, well, change men somewhat.
yeah, let's say Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
So I, then you would see it, umfana, and because again, since we were young, all we wanted to do was to be seen as men. We wanted to be accepted as men. We wanted the things that men had. We wanted the respect, the recognition, the wife, the treatment, the perks, and the privileges. And
Right.
so a boy can pretend to be a man. He
Mm.
can give you that facade because he's seen how men move in that space.
Mm.
Kodwa, nothing ever changes the fact that he's still a boy until
Mm.
he actually grows internally as an individual.
Mm.
And I'm speaking on a higher level of consciousness, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, until he actually grows and becomes a man. He can
Mm.
still be a boy posing as a man.
Mm.
And what I was saying initially was we've allowed our fan to pretend as though bangamadoda because we entertain them. So
Right.
umfana umezenza umuntu omdala, instead of ukumkhuza noma siveze ukuthi no, this is ahead of you, you're not there yet. We
Right.
kind of, hey, that's it, let him. And so boys were then given the platform to occupy the space where men were supposed to occupy.
So
And
that's
then as umuntu wesifazane, when life happens and when you grow along your journey, there's a time when you expect a man to be a man. Now he has to fulfill the role. Along with the rights and the privileges of a man, there are responsibilities. So when it's time to assume the responsibilities, then the boy drowns. He can't fill those shoes. And then Cecity, amadoda are trash, amadoda are weak, amadoda are cowards. But was it ever a man or was it a boy and you were just?
Yeah, but Ndi, now tell me, how do I see this? If I meet you and you give me men energy and you're there on some girl, I got you. Now, Mina, how do I then know? Is it just a matter of I must just give it time? How do I know what you were a boy on the inside?
I'm not Sway. I don't have all the answers. And I will say, but what I do know for sure is that there are many, many more boys occupying that space than there are men. And look, but I see in a lot of relationships, high percentage of I see them, women are more emotionally mature and stable than their partners. Even in the space, Joba being issues, I know more single mothers than I know single fathers.
Right.
In terms of carrying responsibility and my priorities when it's crunch time, I'm seeing more and more women stepping up to that than men.
Sure.
I'm seeing more women actually understanding what as in I have my own desires, but njengamanje khona and lengane is priority number one. So let me deal with that. I'm seeing more women in terms of the household, ukuthi, damn, la endlini ngena X amount of money. I would like to go on a weekend, blah, blah, blah. Kodwa sidinga lokhu nalokhu nalokhu. Then I see men, you know. I see men, ngemali engenayo, he's gonna stifle a little bit. Ayothenga six namajita. It's like a little getaway.
Right.
Who's in charge because made this hotel and she's always blah, you know, blase blah. So he's gonna seek every opportunity to kind of still maintain or get in that amount of fun and that pleasure for himself, naturally at the cost of the family and the unit. And so again, the point of abafana and amadod. And I do believe in power of words. I think naloko, because I know firsthand that feeling of being reminded of umfana, and not in an offensive or condescending way, but in a real healthy and stern way. Ukunjus utshengisa ukuthi no, usewumfana. Don't let this and that fool you. Awukakafiki lapha. And so what I'm saying, I'm a believer now more than ever, Wuti, that is lacking from the side of women showing or telling abafana ukuthi usawumfana, you're not ready for this. And from the side of teen, see our peers, instead of calling them out as Bafo, I don't think you want to sign up for that, Jagamanch. I don't think it's like telling we heavy, I don't think you're ready for marriage, bro. And us having a dialogue about local is very scarce. Because if I would say it, we would say, you're not better than me, blah, blah, blah. And so there's a disconnect, and one of us continues to be pretentious and refuses to grow. So my concern is Uguti, because women are a lot more mature in these relationships than their partners.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is women sometimes will say they will go into these spaces with boys posing as men, and they will wait it out. I will wait until you get to that space where you are, well, man enough, I guess, where you've grown, and I'll stay with you. I'll stay through your boy stages, and I'll stick it out with you until you figure it out. I'm
not even saying it. It's happening.
Sure. It really, really is happening like that. But I think if women don't, okay, so let's say in a world where every woman is saying, if you're childish, I'm not staying. If you're childish, I'm not staying. If you're childish, I'm not staying, right? Let's say in a perfect world that was happening. Do you think that would then force men to grow? If I can say that?
Before I do, Utavis is saying it's important to ask the important questions on the first date. People reveal themselves. So I think that's one of the answers to Mbuzo earlier on about how you can find out if you're with a boy or a man. To answer this question, yeah, because we set the standards. We collectively set the standards for how we behave. So if as umfana I see ukuthi I can gain access to certain things without fully stepping up or putting the minimal amount of work in, I'm gonna do that. It's human nature. I'm gonna I'm not even gonna, obviously, And so I think the norm, I've said this again, which the standards for being a good man are so low. The standards of being a man are so low. And when you now do the basic, what you're supposed to do as indoda, you are hailed as such an amazing man. You're so remarkable. You're so special.
Right.
Like if I open doors, amazing. If I'm present and really in love with my kids and I spend every weekend with my kids, I'm a phenomenal dad.
Sure.
That's not phenomenal. That's what I'm supposed to do.
That's good.
Like that should be the point of departure. So again, we've lowered the standards to exist and operate within our relationships that now when you have someone who's doing what they were naturally supposed to do, they're hailed as this amazing partner. And now we absorb that with, I'm winning the boyfriend Olympics because I bought her a bouquet and I dropped it off at the office. But those are not supernatural or extraordinary actions. Those are the norms. And we've normalized ukudima down to entertain abafana, and we're altering our lifestyles, men and women, because now as abantu besilisa, instead of when you're in the presence of umfana, of speaking truth at the risk of being called this, that, and the other, you would rather now just shut your mouth because, as in, indaba zakhe mfethu uzobona naye phambili, hlangene naye.
Right.
Or even the argument, uzobatshela ukuthini, because uzothi uyamtshela umuntu avela kuphoxa akutshela ukuthi ungamjwayeli kaphi. That's a real argument that we use. And so I often say, well, umuntu mengakhuliswanga phela and wena ufuna ukuzomkhulisa at a later stage, obviously uzorebel, because when they wanted and when they were ready to be taught, there was no one there to teach them. So if my dad wasn't there at 10, I figured, okay, ubaba, I teach myself. If you come at me when I'm 20 years old trying to son me, because I needed a dad 10 years ago, you understand? So the place I am when I'm 20, I'm not really easy to talk to, because I've already been disappointed from when I actually needed you to be there. And so I think that's what's happening, manje. And instead of facing that baton and saying, as in, we kind of screwed up, but we're here now, let's talk to our guys, let's talk to our brothers. Let's say, so
not coming.
No one takes accountability, and then it happens. Again, a relationship, we are Matisa, and then he leaves, and now the woman is left with that child, which again,
One thing. How are we saying you're definitely not getting the invite to the men's conference?
Yeah, Matisa. I'm probably just gonna go see.
There's a conversation that you and I had, and now you're reminding me of this. I think there's a very, we once spoke about, Uti, why is it that it always seems like men are not so interested to go for the very strong, opinionated woman. And
Okay.
what you just said, I've just picked up the answer of Uguti, because she's going to hold you accountable. Because she's going to hold you accountable. Because she's going to ask you questions. And that's not what you're trying to do. That's not, that's not who you're trying to do.
Well, the worst thing you can do to a boy is bombard him with some responsibilities.
Right, right.
Somebody wants to have fun, right? A boy wants to play with other boys. He wants to play with his toys. He wants to enjoy himself. But when you tell him it's time to wash a or do his homework or iron his shirt, it's an issue. He's not all too keen for that, right? And so what's happening in relationships when a woman tells Ubafo Uguti, yo, inyanga yaphela and we need X amount for ingane, for a rent, for a grocer, she's nagging. When a woman says, Haibo, mele sekaya for da 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 da, she's on your case and she's pestering you and she's a nuisance and she's stressing you. As a result, because you need some fresh air, so you go and have some drinks with the guys. But
and that's not even right. So ultimately, it won't be. We're not going to be the ones that win. It will be men in their spaces when they are having their conversation. When he comes and he's there in that space and having the drinks and saying, "Yo, young stressor," it will be the other men that have to say, "No, but she's not really."
They should, but we're not. I mean, we should, but we're not.
Right.
Which is why I'm saying it's not to be accountable. Because almost we complain to each other. And it seldom happens. As literally says, no, that you're not supposed to be talking to us. Instead of that, we're a clique. So, hey, but but you know, we do that. We gas and hype each other up, as opposed to us saying, dude, I hear you, but we're not the people you're supposed to be speaking to. But you're not building this thing with us. You don't have a child with us. You don't live with us. I was shouting at. So we'll listen to you because we're friends and we love you. We got your back. But this argument needs to be taken to that individual, which we don't do it.
And Futi Sonke, what's so interesting, even the guy that's out there cheating on his girl, whatever the situation, all of us want good love. All of us want good love. If you would say, even the man that's actually being unfaithful. Now, if you say, let's be honest, you would put in more effort if you thought this would it would work out. And there's this beautiful quote by Dr. Sean that I absolutely love. He said that a relationship cannot be higher than the people that are in it. Says the level and the standard, it cannot be higher than the people that are in it. So sometimes we want this beautiful thing, but we are not those people. we are not the goal.
You're striking a nerve.
We're not the goal. We want these things, but we're not the goals. Because now how I handle him leaving. So I said, if Imali rent, and I was like, hey, and he walks out. How I handle when he comes back from wherever, right? How I handle that situation will determine where our relationship is on that goal chart, if I can say it like that. It will determine, because you see, sometimes now for the questions that we ask, and when I'm holding you accountable, some of it again is fueled by something. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, could it also be something the way that I'm asking? Do you think that sometimes it gets lost in translation?
a lot of times, a lot of things get lost in translation. But yeah, but only because lack of understanding of self and the partner, we don't learn the language. And we
Right.
don't have the language in a lot of, not even Hutu, we don't know how to communicate in this. Because in a lot of aspects of Hutu, these things that we speak about and these things that we are aspiring to, ziqala ngathi.
Right.
A lot of
Right.
these things we're learning trial and error. So as much as we have to be honest and blunt with ourselves, we also have to be patient and allow ourselves that truth, the Wutsi. Some of these things we didn't have any other place to learn them. So I'm gonna make these mistakes because no one else before me was doing this.
Sure.
And fortunately, unfortunately, it's gonna be a trial and error thing. It's okay. Let me ngizame kanje. Crap, okay, I messed up. No, that wasn't the way. Ngizame lokhu.
It doesn't
Okay,
work like that. Mm.
you know. And I'm seeing 2 points. One, I think, and it's alluding to something you said earlier on, Uti, lack of knowledge of self. We have it, and it's in such high degrees that you want the relationship to kind of be the leg that you're missing. You want the relationship to complete you. And so what that does is you're incapable, no matter you're not willing to put in the work, but you want the relationship to do the work for you.
Yes.
And so you put more burdens on your partner because she's supposed to be this for you. She's supposed to do this for you. She's supposed to play that role. Ngoba wena as an individual, usabe uyidlala leyo role for you.
Come
Or
on.
you're incapable to play
Come
that role
on.
for self. And so, no, ngifuna ngihloniphe.
You want them to be
ngifuna-
what you
ngifuna
have
ngibheke.
not been.
Do you
You
understand what I'm
want them
saying?
to be what you have not been, what you're not. You know, can I say something? This is it's going to sound so shallow, but it was not until I started going to the gym did I stop walking around saying I want a guy with six pack. When I started going to the gym, I was like, you can show up however you want to. You show up
Yeah.
however you want to. I'm not, because I started realizing the work
real.
that goes into it. The work is real.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
work is real.
And it has to be both two-sided. You have to do it and then find an individual who's going to do it with you, which is
Right.
not what's happening. We're not doing that. And
Right.
another concern, and I thought about this earlier on, I was like, okay, I'll throw this in just to see where it goes. The energies that we allow into a relationship, specifically when dating, you know, I was joking earlier on about the boyfriend Olympics. I was joking, but I was kind of not. The energies and the environment in which we now put our relationships in. If we're dating and I buy you, not even buy you, I take you on a weekend getaway to safari or a resort, that moment is not even that moment anymore. That moment is now a caption. That moment is now a post. And so in the absence of being present, Lana, again, whether it's just a home cooked meal with candles, Noma, it's a weekend getaway, or it's a bouquet of flowers showing up to you at work, in the stead of your presence and appreciating that moment and living in that, we have to make an allowance for that Instagram selfie and that
Right.
that post. And so I only mention that ngoba we consciously and subconsciously aren't aware of local, but it informs how we behave. It has an effect on our psyche, on how we behave. And so if your relationship is online on display, that makes me feel some type of way. That informs how I move and how I perceive the relationship. And
Absolutely.
two, we're creating a landscape of competitiveness. We're creating a landscape for whether the other person in a relationship or the other person who's not in a relationship, the reality that they're seeing or the environment and that they're existing in is filled with these moments from different people that seem amazing, that seem happy, that seem beautiful, but they're
Right.
just moments. And like I can take a picture with you with a bouquet of flowers, and you know, the post can let people know, Uti, you're happy, you are the man who loves you. The post won't say that those flowers were because I was apologizing, Ngoba, you just found out that I'm cheating.
Come
Or
on.
I raised my hand on you this morning. The post doesn't talk about, Uti, you have feuds with my family or whatever the case is. The post is just that moment. And so we're putting out all of, and I'm not saying people shouldn't post it. Get it how you live. I'm no police or authority. I'm not even
Right.
saying, look, I'm saying, Uti, we have to also be conscious of the environment in which we're creating and the energies that we're bringing within our relationships. Goba, even with that post, I mean, you put something and it's an innocent picture, but
Right.
you doing that open the door for those people to comment. You open the door for those opinions. You open the door to those energies. You allow those people to have an opinion, to have a say, to
In what
have,
you yeah.
yeah, to
And,
even look and you know.
and you know what? It's firstly Nakona, because we live in this social media space, and we live in a space where this is really where we are now. Sometimes I do think Uti Nako Uti, you go buy me flowers just to post them so that you can get affirmation from all the other girls saying, yo, look at you're doing, you know.
Mm,
A little, let me be vulnerable. When I was in a space, sorry, when I was in a space, um, and I was in a space where I was being treated so well, and I was
uh-huh.
sharing how well I was being treated, and everybody was going, "Oh my goodness, it's so sweet, it's so sweet." But eventually, when I sat down with myself, I had to come to a point where I realized this is sweet because that's what Instagram said. That's what
Mm,
that's what everybody else was saying. This is good and this is amazing. But that's not
yeah,
what I wanted. That's not what I
gotcha.
wanted. Not what I was looking for. Not what mattered to me. And I think we have to, now how I would move then, knowing what I know now, is it has to be real for us first. We have to
Mm,
be clear on what are we doing. I
yeah.
I I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's wise to have anybody else's relationship be your goals. You have your goals that are based
Yeah,
on this is who I am and this is who you are. And then
yeah.
this is what we're building. And then from there, when we are sure of what we're building and what we're saying, then we can decide are we okay when we post this picture, when we, you know, and I can be clear and I can know that when I receive a bouquet of flowers, it has nothing to do with you being seen as boyfriend of the year on Instagram. It really, they
Mm,
come from, you understand? So I
mm,
think we have to always come back to let's be real. Let's be real.
mm,
Before we can, and again, before we can even talk about what we have, before you can even meet my friends, guys, before you can even go meet my friends, before I can meet your friends, before now before we can meet the lady at Pick and Pay and be seen walking around together, I am such a believer of let's be sure. Let's be
mm.
sure. Because there is nothing as awkward as that. What happened between you and yo, I'm telling you understand. And so you want to be solid and you want to be certain in what we have. So that even if they come later and they say, yo, what happened between you and you clear on what happened because you know maybe the goal wasn't met. This was a
Mm,
real and again it will eliminate, I think, our many problems, our problems of others looking around and not being available and cheating, wada, because we know what we're doing. We know what we're
yeah,
doing. We be clear. We know what our intention is with us being together. We know what we're trying to achieve. We know,
yeah,
and none of us who know what we're trying to achieve. it's not just we threw it in the air and said, how yes, this would be nice. We looked at where we were. I looked at where I was as an individual, and you looked at where you were at as an individual, and then we said, okay, this is what we want to achieve. And so we had the conversation of, do we have the ability? Do we have the tools? Are we well equipped to even want to get, you understand? So I can't sit here and be like, yo, I want a Beyonce and Jay-Z kind of situation. Do we have the tools? Do we have the equipment?
No, yeah.
Do we,
And
are we built that way? You know, not, we can look at it as beautiful, but are we we have it? Are we, what is our story? What do you understand? So I'm a big believer now, more than ever, in let's have what we have, let's be solid. And then maybe it is important, I think somewhat important, to share that with the people. For me, when we share that with the people with the intention to inspire, not to say, be like me, be like us, but to inspire in the sense of you can have your own thing in this world. You can have it.
Yeah.
If that's what you understand. Again, so when we are posting a picture, when we are out on holiday, when I did cook and I'm saying, hey, I cooked for my person, let me be very clear on what was my intention of posting that. What was really, what was my real intention of posting that? Am I trying to show everybody else, hey, I'm happy? Because then I'm not. If I'm happy, I don't need you all to validate my happiness. Or am I showing what a healthy relationship can be like? You see?
Well, I was saying intentionally clear from the very beginning. If they match, great. If not, go your way. And or to say, let us two be the ones to determine who we are and what our vision for us is.
Yes.
And yes, it's wild to even and you know it's a bitter pill for my guys. But if we were to take away the Instagram post, you might even realize you don't even like buying her flowers. You know,
right?
It might even click. You really don't care about cooking her dinner. The only incentive for you to do those things is because you know she's gonna flash it, she's gonna post it, and so that's the motivation behind it. But if you had to take away the online presence, you'd actually realize that you really don't care much about opening the door for her, about buying her flowers, about breakfast in bed, and it's just not something that you're into. It's not for you. And ergo, you can never be consistent and fully present in it because it's not coming from you. You're just, which then connects to Lendo issue again about intentions. Another blunt truth and painful one. Sesman is your data cause sabuba ishiman. But honestly, but we really seldom have any idea of what we're doing. There are situations where Indo Diaz with Funan and he moves accordingly. However, there's a larger population. It's in Guba important and so damn it, I need to be married. I need to be dating. So I'm a date. So you don't necessarily are active or present in dating, but hell, what is it going to look like if I'm 42 and I have no girlfriend, I have no child? I can't let that happen.
Right.
So I have to be with a woman. I have to have someone so that now I'm socially accepted. I'm normal. I'm not, I'm not an abstract or I don't stick out.
And I was saying, it's crazy how men do get to a place where they say, I'm now looking for a specific kind of woman, right? And he's got her, and it's an incredible woman. And I mean, aspire for what you aspire for, but he has not become the match for what he's looking for. So he's gonna go out into the world and he's looking for this queen, and she's all these things, and he sees her, right? But he hasn't aspired. He is not that. He's not the match for her. And then another thing that you said that was so important. So he does these things that he can't keep up with. I read a post that said, I just want you to be who you said you were when I first met you. Like, who you said when I first met you, that person, can you keep the same energy?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know? And again,
yeah,
I'm not saying evolve. Yes, evolve, grow, but my goodness. You remember when you said under no circumstances you were ever going to leave? Remember when you used to pick up the phone and call me immediately when you said you was gonna call? Could you keep
yeah,
what?
yeah. But
Now
again,
that
that
now that you have me here, now that I'm here, now that all that I am, I'm here with you. Now 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 why am I not? You understand? So I
yeah,
do think that I feel the pressure that men go through when they are now in a space where they're looking for a wife, but be that too. I've been teaching my boys now, my two incredible boys, I've been teaching them this thing of you are worthy too. You are the
mm,
prize too. You must understand that you are the prize too. So when you walk into a room as a young man, you are the prize as well. You are worth. Don't ever think that she's just the prize, because if you're gonna think that she's just the prize, then that means you're gonna expect her to be something that
that you
you're
are.
not.
Yeah.
So
Little
you be
boyish
worthy.
relationship is not bigger than the people.
Relationship can never be bigger than the people that are in it. It can never.
Yeah.
It will be where we are. We have a glorious relationship. Best believe we are two glorious people, and we've
Mm,
put in the work.
mm. But again, this is why there's that glitch because again, we've let the boys pose. We've allowed them to pretend. They can't keep the same energy because
Right.
Yasin, like in a relationship, in Yasin, like marriage, Yasin. I'm in a relationship with yourself, Yasin. That's not
Come
child's play
on. Come on.
without anyone else involved. So add another human being, another spirit, another energy. That's no child's play. So I can pretend, I can give you a good trailer, but I can't carry it for the whole movie. If that's not who I am, if that's not where I am, I'm only good for 2 minutes. After
Yeah.
logo, my true colors are showing, my true nature. You know, Uvilapa, my insensitivity, my rudeness, my unfaithfulness, my shortcomings, my fears, my traumas, all of it is unveiled. So Nakon, I'm usually on the side that says they never really change. They reveal themselves
I agree.
because
I agree 100%.
like again I've got sisters, so I tell it to them now. I'm like, no, nobody can act like a man. A man will give you what you need. Like he will show you Lendo from Reborn without question. Like a
Oh,
boy
that's
can
so good.
pose as a man. He will do it immaculately.
Mhm.
Uzungabona nokuthi he's posed. But a boy can pretend to be a man. You know, you can pretend
Oh,
to be
that's
something higher. What you can't do is pretend to be something beneath you. And so this is the thing with Indot. Indot is not trying to be romantic. He's not trying to be sweet. He's not trying to
it
be
just
present.
is. It
He
just is.
that's who he is. Yeah, one. It's not an
Absolutely.
effort of. It's not an effort to see he's loving you for who you are, or he actually sees you, or he's present whenever you need him. That's not. That's not a deliberate thing. He's not waking up and saying, "Oh
This
crap,
is
I
just
have to be
who he
present."
is.
Nah, even in the face of whatever he's facing, he cannot turn his back on himself. He's gonna love you regardless.
That is
That's
so
who
good. That
that's
is
just who
so
he
good.
is. That's what he does. However, a boy will forget what he has to love you. He'll forget that he has to show up. When he's got a lot on his mind, when things are going astray, he'll forget what he has to text you and check up on you, see if you're okay. He'll forget
Oh,
that
that's so good. That is so good.
again, when we go into these spaces, Guatina, we're not even there and we're pretending. That's why I'm saying a boy will pretend, but you can never maintain that because it gets tiring and you miss a few steps along the way. If even if you're cooking, like umupheka into ongayazi, uzokhohlwa ukufaka usawoti, uzokhohlwa ukufaka
Right.
isobho, because awuyazi vele.
Right. This is
You know
not
what I mean?
you. Right. You don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, but if you've been cooking, you don't even have to read the recipe. You know at this point, ngifaka usawoti, ngifaka isobho la, ngifake aromate. And so within our relationships, there's a lot of performances, there's a lot of pretense, because one, external pressure, umuntu akafuna ukuba isishimane, you want to have a girlfriend, you want to be a part of the clique. And two, what you were saying when we kicked it off, that fear of, I don't want to die alone, or what if I never find this, or what if I'm not worthy, or this is all I've ever seen. And so I think the energy that we move into our relationships with, it needs to be interrogated. We need to look at that and have a real honest conversation with self, who would say, okay, ngiyayifuna lento, am I up for lento, noma is it just something I'm trying to do so that people will stop asking me to ngizoyithola nini ingane, ngizoshada nini? I mean,
have I made space within myself to be able to maintain the thing that I am asking for? Have I prepared? Have I swept my porch? Am I ready for the guest? Have I cleaned my house to be able to accommodate the guests that I want to now come and share my space with? That's so good. I love what you just said now. I love what you just said now. By a man cannot pretend to be something else. He cannot, this is who he is. He's not even acting it out. It just is. He can't be any other thing but that who he already is. But a boy will forget. You know what? If you never say anything else to me, you've said, if you never say, you've said it. You've said it. A boy will forget. A boy will forget. The boy will forget, and then they will, you know. So I think now there's this, on the page that you posted, it said the art of dating, meaning now moving forward, because at Kuneni we have to have healthy relationships. At Kuneni we have to be the ones with the beautiful story. As you always say, the kids are watching, right? We have to tell a different story. Now, here we are. It's 2020. We're in a pandemic. We've lost jobs. We are going through the moon. Our government is letting us down like never before. As Black people, we are just, guys, life is hard. Life is hard. How do we then still thrive in a society or in an atmosphere where cheating is okay, where gender-based violence is okay, where you can hit me and I can hit you back, and that's fine. This is what we're doing, right? How do we move out of that space and still have something healthy and beautiful? What are the steps, Ndi? How do we fix it? Because we have to fix. I want a great love story, okay? I want a great, beautiful love story, and I want to go out and get that story.
Well, you already are, for one. I think your love story has begun. I think you already have, you in your own, I think you are a love story. Says on chapter X also figure, but the story already began.
That is so good. That's so good.
I think it's nothing new. It's nothing we've never heard. It's just something we've been trying to avoid, which is working on yourself. Because one, we have to work on ourselves because even before we get to a point where we need to show the kids that it's possible, we need to show the kids how it's done. Before we show them, we have to show us, Uti, this is what it is, and I have to exist in that space. I have to be that individual, and then I show the kids. And once I'm in a place where I can show the kids, I can also teach the kids. I can call them out and have that conversation. So I think truth to self, for one, I don't say Saba, but at the same time, it's one thing we can never escape. We have to work on our individual selves. We have to fix ourselves. We have to see and know and accept and forgive and appreciate and respect ourselves. And then we can start having a conversation of, okay, I'm going to show love to my community. I'm going to show love to my youngins, to my family, my friends, acquaintances, my colleagues, and so on and so forth. So the steps start with you. Because I mean, even I'll use you an example. I think you're doing it. You've been doing it, and so because you have done it with self. More, it's not a thing to tell someone that you love them. It's not a thing to tell someone that they're beautiful. It's not a thing to tell someone that they inspire you or you want this greatness for them. It's almost a reflex, and you can't even help it when. And that's why I'm so fond of you, because now our nagi, it's lenda being about men. It's nature. It's second nature to you. It's a reflex. Overlands, and then, oh snap! Did I really just say that? Did I just? And when you're true to self, that's what happens. So you don't even know you're teaching and you're healing and you're inspiring and you're moving people, but you're just doing it by merely existing in your own truth. And that's why English would see the step is we have to start with self, because when you're there, once you fix that, you don't have to wake up and say, I want to inspire the world, I want to change. No, you just do that
this
by
is
being
really who you are. You're just following who you really are. Yo, that's so good. How we saying? I would say we need to confront the issues we have, and that's true.
Yeah. So we have to face the mirror, and that's why we're having these conversations with the guys, because that's one of the most heaviest issues insofar as men and boys are concerned. Facing oneself and actually being in a place where it's okay to tell yourself, yo man, my feelings are hurt, like shit. Like, as in, I'm not okay, man. I need a minute. Or I need someone to talk to. You know what I mean? We need to allow ourselves that space and that freedom to be weak. Just take a knee for a minute. If you need to shed some tears, shed some tears. It's okay. It's cool. Take whatever time you need. But do what you need to do to be straight. So yeah, again, it's nothing we've never heard. It's nothing new. It's nothing profound. It's the same. Work on yourself. We just got to work on ourselves.
So good what you just said. What you just said is so good, Need. Went straight into my heart. So when I start loving on myself and I start working on myself, that's when my love story starts. My love 100%. Story starts. Oh, that's so good.
Oh yeah. We were saying, we were talking, and about in spirituality, connecting it to gender-based violence, Nakon. With that and connecting to land, it's that truth of once you understand who you are on a spiritual level, mentally, emotionally, beyond this physical realm, speaking up or acting against gender-based violence is not something that you decided to do. It's the only thing to do. You're not doing it because usiza abantu besifazane or uzama ukusiza. No, you understand that all life is connected. So being idle is not an option. Being complacent is not an option. It's not even Uti. I'm doing it because I want to be seen. I'm doing it because I'm trying to. No,
this is right.
Yeah, like as much as I involuntarily breathe and blink, I have to stand against land, because you understand Uti. Life is life and life is connected. We're not, but man is an island. We're not here with okay, I'm gonna get mine. You figure yourself out, and you can't kill women and think which life goes on. That's
right.
Doesn't even even on any level that makes no sense. Like so it's not even a thing doing it for women. No, you're doing it for you now. If you want to be motivated by
Come on.
Like, so I'm basically saying that to say, Wuti, we're not connected. And when you are aware of who you are, your true and highest self, all of these things, giving love and sharing hope and helping people, these are not things that you're doing to be recognized and to be liked and to be seen. These are things that are just in your nature. You believe this is how you should exist. And now again, like as I was putting you on spot, you do these things effortlessly because that's how you breathe. That's how you exist. It's not a
No.
choice. It's not, yeah, today I'm in a good mood. Let me show some love. Now you show some love regardless. Even when you're having a crappy day and you see someone who had got good news, you congratulate them. Even when you have your own load and you see umuntu who's in pain, you check in. Are you okay? You good? You need an ear? Like you're present consistently. Awuzami, this is life
This is
to
just
you.
who you are. This is who you are.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
And
So that's why
again, you always
yeah.
say a person can only meet others where they've met themselves. You always say
Yeah,
that.
true.
And so again, I think even in relationships we keep the same energy. I can only show up for you like how I've showed up for myself. I can only
100%.
be there for you like how I've been there for myself. So
100%.
I then think when we've done the work, we then must be brave, especially us women. We must be courageous in I will not be with someone who hasn't done the work.
Mm.
We must
Yeah.
be courageous and we must stand in that space. It might be a lonely space for a while. It might be a hard space to stand in for a while. But again, we are fighting for a bigger story. The children are watching, right? The girls in my community are watching. So I have to be courageous and stand in that space because
Yeah.
it's a much bigger fight of I will not settle.
100%.
I will not move. I will not come down. This is where I am standing. When you've met yourself at this level, maybe let's have a conversation.
Yeah. Up the standards.
Right.
Up the standards of being human. I think we'll get there, God. I mean, I've got faith. I'm optimistic.
Right.
Yeah, in recent days and recent weeks, I've been reminded, and I'm seeing like there's still people. There's you, there's Howie, there's the guys, the brothers that we've been speaking to. So those individuals exist.
Mm.
They're there, and let's focus on that for now. If we were just doing a motivation or whatever, just remember those people exist. You're not alone. You know, there might
Right. You're
not be
not
a lot.
standing in the space alone. Right.
There might not be a lot, but they're there, and it's okay.
Right. Right.
If you need that conversation, if you need that ear, pick up the phone or send that text or drop the DM. They exist. Aware. I think that's one of the most important things. You're not alone. So the fear of you'll die. No, you won't die alone. It's okay. And even if you do, it's okay. Rather that than ubulawa omunye umuntu who had no business.
Right.
You know,
And even if
your
you do die alone in that space, you would have had your love story. You would have had your love story.
You won. You are the story. You know. So
This is so good. This is so good. I'm gonna go write
Thank
me
you.
a poem.
Like
This is so good. So good.
You're super. You're dope. You're dope. Thank you. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know where this was gonna go, but I'm glad it did what it did. I'm glad it went what it went. Now I can answer the question you were asking me before we went on the phone. I'll
Okay.
my answer now. But thank you. This was enlightening. This was fun. This is interesting to be in this space.
Thank you. Thank you
Everyone
so
that
much.